Welcome, friends, to Chapter by Chapter, the interview series. I'm Paige Turner, and today we begin looking at It's All About Him, a book that helps us see faith not as a formula, but as a friendship. Joining me is its author and pastor, Lee Venden, and together we'll explore how each chapter brings us a little closer to knowing Jesus personally. Our first chapter is entitled, It's Who You Know. Lee, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Paige. It's good to be with you, especially since we're starting at the very beginning. And the beginning of this story is, well, Jesus.
Yes, the title of the chapter says it all. No other message. You don't waste any time making it clear that this book, this life, it's all about Him. Why start there?
Because everything starts there. In the words of Eugene Peterson's paraphrase from Colossians 1 verses 16 through 23, everything got started in Him and finds its purpose in Him. That's not just poetic, it's foundational. If Jesus isn't central, we're orbiting around the wrong thing.
You shared how Michael Card opened a concert by saying, all the songs are going to be about Jesus. There's really no one else worth singing about. That really struck me.
Yes, it hit me too. That one line stuck with me long after the concert ended, and it sums up what I want readers to hear out of the starting gate. It really is all about Jesus. Jesus is the song worth singing.
You point out that Jesus and His Father have been seeking friendship with we humans ever since Eden and the creation of man.
That's right. We began experiencing a personal relationship with God at creation. The sad thing is, Adam and Eve decided to break up with God and run off with a snake. I've often tried to imagine how that made God feel.
You clearly prod your readers to try and imagine God's feelings when you ask if we've ever experienced rejection, and we all have in one way or another. Your own story about your first girlfriend breaking up with you in 8th grade certainly taps into the feeling of rejection.
Well, Paige, pain is a universal language. When we talk about Jesus' longing for friendship, it's easy to overlook the emotional weight behind that. So I invite readers to remember their own heartbreak, because it's a doorway into understanding God's heartache.
You write, think about God feeling rejected for 6,000 years. That stopped me in my tracks.
That line came from reading Philip Yancey. When he spent time in the mountains reading the Bible straight through, he saw the big picture. Page after page of God pursuing us despite rejection. And it hit me. How must God feel? We don't often think about Him having feelings.
No, we really don't. But in this chapter, you paint a powerful picture of God's vulnerability. Especially when Jesus asks Peter, "Do you love me?" 3 times.
Exactly, that's a raw moment. The creator of the universe asking one of His own, "Do you love me?" That's not a rhetorical question, it's risky. That's a God with skin in the game, and I think that's what makes Him so approachable.
And I loved your analogy of human breakups, especially the heartbreak you describe a bit further into the chapter when a later girlfriend told you she just wanted to be friends. That word takes on a whole new weight in this chapter.
It does. Within the context of breaking up, more often than not, the phrase "let's just be friends" actually means I'm not really attracted to your company anymore. I don't want you around. And honestly, I think God has been on the short end of that stick more times than any of us ever have. God knows that feeling all too well.
I am reminded of Jesus weeping over Jerusalem. He was clearly heartbroken.
As you study that story, you discover they were not silent tears quietly slipping down Christ's cheeks. I can picture His body shaking and His chest heaving. The vulnerability of God was on display.
You point out that Isaiah 53 prophesied the Messiah's rejection and remind us that there was no room in the inn at Bethlehem for Him as an infant.
Brennan Manning says, the only place there was room for Him was on a cross.
It is becoming more clear why you write about God needing us. Inconceivable as that may seem, if He is love and made us for relationship, you could say He needs us too.
Absolutely. Often, preachers tend to make a case for how much we need God, but a very real case can be made that God needs us too.
Lee, when you left for college, your mom wrote a letter that helps make that point very clear. It's deeply personal, but may I have one of our studio actors read part of it for our listeners?
Of course. That letter means the world to me. I still have it more than 50 years later.
Dear Lee, how do you write to your firstborn son, who is on his first real solo flight? You put it off because somehow he seems older than you are. It's past the time for maternal advice because he already knows almost everything about what you think pertaining to him, but he doesn't know the pain around his mother's heart as she watches him leave to become a man. Experience is the best teacher, so they say, but you can't learn from our experience because it is not the same as finding out for yourself. Your mom wishes she could be there to pick you up if you fall and encourage you to try again, like she did when you learned to walk. She wishes she could be there to tell you that you are missed. I'm grateful to God for having you as a son and that you put up with us for these 19 years. I hope you won't stop putting up with us. I wanted to write something really poetic or heavy, but the words just won't come. This is not intended to make you homesick or to get you to return. This is really just therapy for your mother. I want you to know that I love you, more than just saying, I love you, as you went out the door. I miss you, but I'm glad for your opportunity to grow and mature. I'm proud of you and appreciate the friend you were to me. I'm not sure that I will mail this letter, but it has been good for me to write my feelings and to even shed a few tears. Keep in touch, Lee. We need it more than you do. Your loving mother.
Phew, Lee. That one goes straight to the heart.
Yeah. And I included it in the chapter because I think it gives a glimpse into how God feels when his children walk out the door without him. It's not about, do they need me? It is, I need them. The same way a parent feels when the nest empties.
So God really is looking for friendship with each one of us?
He sure is. He is even knocking on the door of our heart. In Revelation 3:20, he says, I'm just outside knocking. If anyone hears me and opens the door, I will come in and fellowship, hang out with him or her. I believe he knocks every morning wanting to know if we can do breakfast with him.
And then, Lee, you assert that he will go way further than simply knocking. This chapter includes a piece you wrote called Have You Ever? It reads like a sacred lament, reminding the reader to what lengths Jesus went to bridge the gap and enable us to connect with him. Would you introduce that for us?
Yes. Have you ever? Is a meditation on what it must have been like for Jesus, not just in his suffering, but in his aloneness. I wanted readers to feel what he felt, and I'm glad you've suggested sharing it just now.
All right, we will again pause and listen to a voice actor read Lee's reflection, Have you ever?
Do you know what it's like to be lonely? So alone that none but your own thoughts are ever your companions. Have you ever walked through a crowd, attended a dinner party, or passed through a marketplace teeming with people, yet somehow still felt alone? Have you ever been turned away no matter where you went or who you asked for lodging? Do you know how it hurts to have no one to talk to, no one to share with, even if they only listen? Have you ever cried so hard that your eyes ached in trying to talk? You could only moan between sobs. Have you ever felt the pain of rejection or the bitter disappointment of broken trust? Have you ever had people follow you everywhere, that they might distort something you say and justify putting you to death? Have you ever been rudely jostled by calloused men, helpless within their menacing circle because of love? Have you ever had someone spit upon your bruised and bleeding face? Have you ever felt blood trickling down your back from torn flesh while being beaten by a leather whip with metal strips attached to it? Have you ever felt the sharp pain of thorns forcefully pressed deeper into your scalp and temples? Do you know how it feels to struggle through your own blood while dragging heavy timbers? Would you bear screaming insults, laughter, and mocking as you collapse beneath your instrument of death? Would you struggle desperately to rise and continue towards your place of execution? Have you ever felt the tearing, grinding crunch of nails being pounded through your hands and feet? Have you ever felt, with every nerve, the jolting thud of a cross dropped into its deeply dug hole? Have you ever gasped hoarsely for breath, aware that you are dying? Have you ever exhaled your last breath knowing it is finished? Have you ever hurt? Have you ever ached? Have you ever suffered? Have you ever died? Alone for those who refuse to let you be their friend? While on this earth, Jesus longed for companionship. He still does. Will you be his friend?
Lee, that was devastating and holy. I don't think anyone who hears that will ever take the cross for granted again.
I hope not. Jesus didn't just die. He hurt. He ached. He wept. He begged for friendship with people who mocked him. And still, he asks, can we be friends?
That is what you circle back to again and again. You even slow down the word atonement, calling it at one meant.
Exactly. Because it's not just a theological term, it's the heartbeat of the gospel. Jesus is knocking, not to lecture us or burden us, but simply to say, can I come in? Can we be friends?
Lee, thank you for beginning this journey with such honesty, warmth, and depth. This chapter has laid a foundation we'll keep returning to, Jesus at the center, love reaching out, and God's aching heart asking, do you love me?
Thanks, Paige. Let's keep that question ringing in our ears, because there's no other message, just this one.
This chapter has spoken to my heart. If it has spoken to your heart as well, I hope you'll join us for the next one as we continue our journey through It's All About Him. If you'd actually like to read the book, it is available for purchase on Amazon.com. And if you know someone who might be encouraged by what you've heard, please share this link and help spread the blessing. Until next time, this is Paige Turner reminding you to keep your eyes on Him.